The relationship between the people, the land, the water, the environment. If they're not all healthy in a synergistic way, then we're out of balance. So when we think about the healing clinic, we're healing the people. When we care for the environment and the habitat, we're healing the environment, the land, the water, the air. They all have to be in sync, and they all have to be healthy for all future generations. Our tribe is one of 3 bands of the S'Klallam people who are located on the Olympic Peninsula, in Kitsap Peninsula in western Washington State. Historically, we were a tribe made up of around 23, 24 different villages. Our tribe was unique because we were the largest village and we bought our own land. That's way back in 1870. We always had a relationship with the federal government. We had BIA school, we had BIA law enforcement, and then in the 50s and 60s, federal government no longer recognized the Jamestown community because we were not on a reservation. So we pursued restoring our relationship with the federal government more in the 60s and the 70s.
While we don't have a whole reservation, so to speak, we're very checkerboard. It feels like we're playing the game of Monopoly all over these 2 towns and along our rivers that are ours. You know, they're ours to be protecting for our treaty rights and, you know, making sure that our rivers are healthy, our fish are healthy, our land, our animals, our brothers and sisters in creation are healthy.
We started realizing in recent years, opiate was a big problem for our community. As many of our citizens were struggling.
This is a small rural county of about less than 80,000 people. It was reported many times at the Washington Post that this was the worst county in the United States based on per capita for overdoses, and we had a large number of overdoses, and we still do in this county, and so we wanted to do something about that.
When we saw that particular data, it saddened us and it moved us to want to take action. And so we decided we're going to create an opioid use disorder clinic and we're going to bring healing to people.
When we first bought this piece of property, this was just farm pasture back here. And we bought it because we stood out here and, you know, Ron and I looked up at the mountains there, and that's the headwaters of the Dungeness River. And we said, this is perfect. You know, if you want somebody to heal, this is the most perfect place to do it.
The Healing Clinic was founded on a particular theme from a very sacred story that we have here at S'Klallam S'Klallam. And it happens to be a story that my grandmother had told our community, and it came from her grandfather. And so the grandfather story, in summary, is about a grandfather who knew that his time to transition into the spiritual world was coming. He was going to be passing away soon. And so he needed to make sure that he passed on all of his knowledge to each of his little grandchildren. And one more grandchild still needed to be taught. And so the grandfather pulls him close to the edge of the river and says, "Do you want me to show you how I can change the course of this river?" And the little boy just was astonished. You know, how is one human being supposed to change the course of a gigantic river? His grandfather said, "You watch this rock right here." So he grabs the rock, and they watched the hole that was left behind from that rock. And pretty soon there was a little piece of the river that broke off, and that stream came in and filled in that hole where the rock left behind. And the grandfather tells his grandson, "You see, it just takes one small act to change the course of the river. You might run into places in your life that are difficult, and you might find places that try to change the course of your river, but all you have to do is make one small decision, one positive act, one act of strength, one act of depth to change the course of your river for good again." So we use that story as the theme for our healing clinic, that those who walk through the door are making that small act where they take that rock out of the river. Maybe for years they've been struggling with this. Now they're making this decision that they want to become clean and sober.
We started talking about building the healing clinic in about 2017. So I had wanted to come and work here since we started talking about it. So I was actually the first hire. I have 2 children, Josh and Hannah. They both became heroin addicts.
I was never into the party drugs, or it was the opiates, the downers, that The first time I took them, I really fell in love with them. And then it was like a weekend thing, and then a every other day thing, and then an everyday thing, and it just progressed rapidly. And then started getting into heroin and really started losing everything. If I didn't use for a few hours, I'd start going into withdrawals really bad, like the worst flu you could ever imagine. Couldn't get out of bed, living with my mom or homeless or really doing nothing by the end. The only time I would leave is to go get heroin, go use. I was using needles, so I was getting infections all the time, abscesses, and it was a really terrible, terrible time.
About 15, 16 is when I got into opiates. My poor mom had to put me on youth at risk, so I was in and out of juvie and not go to school like I should have been. As I got more into adult age, got pregnant at 17, had her at 18, and so of course I was clean through that and everything. Say about 20 years old, I found heroin, which was starting to get really big in our town. And then I got into the needle pretty quickly. I had gotten pregnant with our second daughter, and then carried her full term, and we actually lost her. After that, I kind of fell backwards. Yeah, I didn't get any counseling like I should have right then. That's when I really got bad. My brother and I, we used a lot together. My brother and I kind of put my mom through the ringer. A lot of the times we were under her roof.
Josh lived with us throughout his entire addiction, and so that was a lot more difficult to see it all firsthand. As a mother, the best way I can describe it is I was grieving the loss of my children that were still alive. It was finding hundreds and hundreds of used needles hidden in every nook and cranny of the house. It was going into the restroom and finding blood splatter on the walls and the floor. I'd constantly go to his room and check on him. I'd make sure his chest was still going up and down, making sure he's still alive. It was something that I had no idea how to deal with it or how to help. All I knew is that I wanted them better and I didn't want them to die. It's years of nobody else really understanding what you're going through, which is another reason I'm happy to be here, is because when our patients do come in, I do know how they feel and I do know what they're going through. I wouldn't wish this on anybody to have to go through, to watch your children suffer and not be able to help. I finally got them to agree to go to our family clinic, and they got on medication-assisted treatment. Now they have one's got 4 years, and I think the other one has 6 years clean and sober. They both are very successful, have great jobs, great families, and it's all thanks to the MAP program. The medication has just turned their lives around, and I couldn't be happier. So it makes me happy to come here to work every day and help others get the help that they need and help turn their life around.
Mom's always been awesome, probably too awesome. She should have kicked me out a long time ago before I got clean, but she put up with more than any mom ever should have to. And me and my sister were in that world together, so she had way more pain than just one kid too.
What makes us different than a lot of the other clinics is that the intensive wraparound services. So we offer services of behavioral health, substance use disorder counseling, primary care, dental, child care, transportation, and basically we're trying to help the person heal their mind, their body, and try to help them integrate back into the community.
From my experience with my own children, they do great at showing up for one part of their treatment and then getting to the next phase of it to counseling. They'd have to go to another area and then they'd have IOP somewhere else. And then it's just hard for somebody in that situation to get around and get to all these different places, different times, all that kind of thing. So I do feel the wraparound services are very, very important because they can come in and get all their stuff done in one spot.
I've been going through Jamestown Health Clinic, actually, on their Suboxone program, and that's amazing because, I mean, it's helped save my life, I believe. You work with a doctor every month that just checks in on you, and you can go more often if, depending on what level of, care you need, but I think they need this everywhere because it's a lot of help. We have a lot of support through the tribe, and they make that very known to us. If you ever need anything, between the counselors and my job, it's like one big family there, so it's pretty amazing. Same with the tribe, they're all amazing. And I know they're always there for support if I need, help with anything.
I love being part of the tribe, and if I were to screw up, that would all go away. And so I'm trying to be an active leader in the tribe someday. And so I'm doing construction right now, and I want to someday be the construction manager or project manager for the tribe. The tribe pays for my school. They want to further me, which is very helpful. I don't feel like I'm stuck in one place forever. Just finished my construction technology degree, and then I'm going to start a business degree. Ron's always been encouraging, never once said I had too many chances. He always gave me another chance. I think that's what we're doing here, is giving people a chance, so I'm glad the tribe did it.
The Josh and Hannah success story is heartwarming. They're great examples of the things that we do to help our citizens and the extended family as well. The self-governance movement allowed us to take all those federal resources, make them better fit, and then complement those resources with the tribal resources, and at the end of the day, we got a better program.
We could have chosen to just serve Jamestown S'Klallam or just Native Americans in our area. We're choosing to serve everyone, which includes our non-Native brothers and sisters. And we chose to do it that way because we are intermarried. We are friends together. We're in the same community. We're in the same organizations. We're doing life together. So we decided, yes, we're going to serve everyone here who needs it. So if you happen to view our website or if you visit the building, you'll see the grandfather's hand, and then you'll see a stone in the middle of his palm to represent that story, that everyone has a chance to change the course of their river. Just takes that one small decision of strength. And for here at Jamestown, we're gonna be here for those who choose that one moment of strength. Right? That's so awesome.
Way oh hey, way oh hey I, way oh hey I.